Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, let's talk about if TikTok is normalizing pedophilia. But first, roll the intro. All right, welcome back to the show. And for those of you guys that are new here, Josh and I do these regular videos where either we talk about social commentary and whatever is out there in the news, or we go into what's happening with little trends on social media. Today, an example, we have one right out of TikTok. Good old TikTok. TikTok is like that one thing that just like never stops giving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that one source that it'll never stop giving. And strap yourself in, strap yourselves in, guys, because this is a hell of an episode.
It is. And before we get in, let me remind everybody that you can catch this episode and any episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. In addition, if you don't mind hitting that like button, you have no idea how much it helps us. By the way, a special shout out, to who? To our, from what I can see, our first official hater. Why? Because for the last few videos, I've noticed that we have a whole bunch of people, that will like him, and I appreciate it. But we always have that one dislike. And I think it has to be one person, right? So shout out to you, man. Whatever is making you unhappy. I don't know what we're saying that we're pissing you off, but you know what? Thank you either way for watching and taking your time of your day to dislike. And yeah, so you can hit that like button, the subscribe, and the notification. Again, it's more than what we can ask for because it really, really helps us. All right, let's get into it. So today we want to talk about TikTok and some of the videos, as you saw there at the beginning of the clip here of the show, where you're seeing things that are, to our opinion, being normalized, right? And they seem very romantic, because they put a little filter over it and some like trending song, and then whatever else makes it look pretty and romantic, quick cuts of people's pictures. Let's first start with one of the trends, right? And I think that's one that Josh and I are super passionate about because it's one that actually kind of set this whole thing off in motion. And that is the video where you have, or the trend, or the idea rather, that age is only a number, right? We have instances where you have very, very young people, very, very young, essentially getting together with very, very, very old people. Now, before anybody here gets all up in arms and protective because maybe they feel that we're attacking someone hell, it could be your parents, because back in the day, that was actually a thing, or even you're in a relationship with someone older. Let me add the fact, right? Let me start by saying that I am married to someone that is 3 years older than me. That is not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about someone that, is just, within the same age group, right? Or the same, what do they call them? The generational, whatever, the Gen Zers and the, Gen Xers, and, somewhere in between, you're very close. No. We're talking about potentially an age difference of 30 plus years, right? Is that what we saw there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think some of them were like mid-20s to I think 25 plus years different sometimes. Like these are some individuals who are 17 years old, 18 years old, who have partners, if you want to call it that, who are sometimes even 68, 69, like 75 years old. I think I saw one of them.
Yeah. So listen, guys, again, we're not here, right, to make anybody feel bad if that is your situation currently, or if you have fallen in love for some reason, right, with someone that is 20, 30 years older than you. First of all, I understand crushes. There's always that, cutesy, romantic story of like a high school, guy or girl that has a crush on their science teacher or something, right? That is also not what we're talking about here. More importantly, what we want to get into is the relationships that have gone as far as having children, right? So let's start with one of the first things that Josh and I discuss, right? Put aside anything that the man or woman, right? Or woman and woman, or man and man, whatever, that, they're working through, that drove them, that led them into getting in a relationship with someone that is a lot older or a lot younger. Let's put all that aside for a second, and let's look at some of what I feel, by the way, is a bit of a tragedy. And that is that some of these couples are having children, right? That potentially will never see one of their parents, grow old with them, right? Where you have, as an example, in one of the clips there that we saw, there is a man well into his 70s that is with someone that is in her early 20s, even younger. I think she was 19, and they had a child. Just at the base, it's a beautiful thing. It's a life. But I personally think of the future a lot, right? Yes, I live in the present, but I know that the future is right in front of me, right? And I feel that in this particular instance, you have a couple who maybe doesn't consider that, or doesn't consider that in a very serious manner, and saying, where am I going to be when my child needs me the most, right? When my child is maybe in her teens, late teens, early 20s, and they need us, right? We need our parents, and I'll be gone, because at that point, that'll put me well over or near 100. And how many men, by the way, really live to 100? Not very many, right? I will say. And it is a tragedy, right, to see that. Because you're not really doing it to yourself, you're doing it to your children. If by the way, if anybody feels like I do about children, you feel very protective, right? You feel like that is one of our most precious, things to accomplish, in life. I don't mean to call children things, but it's just one of those things. I don't even know how to describe it, or parents say all the time, like, I'll give my life for my kid. And I know that what that feels like now, right? And our parents probably said the same thing about us. So to take that sentiment and then say, well, I'm going to have a kid at 70 something, knowingly that you were very likely won't be able to be around for that kid in their key years, right, of development. I personally feel that is it's very sad, right? And what were you saying, Josh? For you, it was more of a...
It's hugely selfish more than one thing, because that kid might be, I don't know, let's say the guy was 75, he might be 85, he might have some type of Alzheimer's at that point. And the only memory this kid is going to have of his dad is someone who doesn't even know who he is.
Suffering.
And
right?
what kind of result is that going to have, and what kind of effect is that going to have on that child growing up and that relationship that they do have with older people in the end,
Right. And by the way, to stick to our topic, right, is TikTok normalizing that? Is that pedophilia? Well, depending on how you move the age gap, right, and how early the young person fell in love with the old person, and how the old person was potentially, I'm not saying in every case, but potentially in many cases, scouting out young, people, you can definitely see that as pedophilia, in my opinion, right? Is again, one thing is for you to look at someone that is, hell, I'll even give you 5 years younger than you, and you're maybe, let's just say 30, someone's 25. It happens all the time. I will even go as far as to say that I probably know people with that kind of age gap. That's not the same, folks. That's not the same. We're not talking about, just a few years. We're talking about someone, that is putting out there in the world, in this case, TikTok, hey, I'm 17, I'm 18, I'm 19. Here's my significant other, he's 70 something, or she's 70 something, almost 80. Now we can go and start, now that we have touched, on the fact that what are they doing and leaving, what kind of problems are they leaving behind when they're having children, right? Now let's move into what is it, right, that is driving people like that? In part, right, not to state the obvious here, but the mommy and daddy issues that they might have grown up with. Let's look at, how some of these individuals are seeing this being normalized, right? Now we can have someone well into his, beyond 60s, 70s saying, oh shit, it looks like I no longer have to creep on some of these college girls or younger, right out of high school. It looks like now it's, it's the thing to do. And the reason, again, like the child thing that we just talked about as a problem is because you get into situations like what's happening in California. If you don't know this, there is literally a proposition in California. California proposal seeks to normalize pedophilia. It's an opinion piece, but still, the article reads that the California General Assembly has approved LGBT-backed legislation that would reduce the penalty for adults having, not going to say the word, an oral intercourse with minors. This is insane. This is beyond insane, actually. Right? So again, it all starts with little cutesy clips, of very, very young people, whether it be a woman or a man, and a very, very old person, right? Thinking this is okay. This is, again, this is perfectly fine. There's tons of us out there. Now, the most shocking thing that we found when we were looking and doing our research, what was the most shocking things, Josh, that you saw on YouTube?
Well, actually, if we look at the likes and dislikes which come in, I think there was about 5,000 likes, thumbs up, saying I'm with this. 450 or so dislikes. So there are more people that are for this, and this is something which is so strange to me. I thought that this might have died out. I thought that we'd been a bit more enlightened now, because in the end, I don't care if you guys can come to me with a better argument. If mansplaining is triggering you right now, but if you can come to me with an argument that love is just a number, if you can come to me with an argument that's outside of that, then I might listen to you. I might be able to listen to you. But age is just a number is a load of bullshit. I'm so sorry. In the end, this is someone who, in one form or another, is taking advantage of someone who is not as developed as they are. They had the same experience in the same way. I know I thought I was liberal, but this is too much for me, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, my parents actually have a bit of an age gap as well. They're eight or 9 years difference.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about here. That's not what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's completely different when someone has lived their whole life with the internet compared to someone who still has trouble writing text messages in caps locks. Is like that's the difference. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, no.
What's going on?
Some of these people are closer to the previous pandemic. I don't want to be an asshole, right? But then then they are to anything else, and it's very, very telling, again, what is going on through some of these people's minds. Now, furthermore, like Josh just said, it's very telling of what's going on with society in seeing this as something that is now increasingly more openly accepted. Now, folks, please understand that what we're saying here is that, or rather we're not saying here, is that people shouldn't love each other, that people shouldn't seek to find a partner, especially sometimes after either they've had a divorce or even worse, unfortunately, had their previous spouse pass away. That's not what we're saying here, guys. All right. So before you guys get all crazy with their comments, understand that what we're pointing out here is, more importantly, the potential outcome of having a child, right? And what happens to that kid, right? And then, of course, looking at what is going on more than anything with the older person, and saying nobody around my age group, even close to it, right, understands me, gets me, finds me attractive, or the other way around. So I got to go further and further and further. And so what happens? What happens when you have people like the article I just referenced, where they have actual individuals now saying, yeah, we back now, grown men or women saying that they need to be normalized as pedos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where do you stop? Yeah, where do you stop? Like, these videos we found, most of them are technically with adults, right? 18 and above. But where does it stop? Right?
Right.
Where do we, how many times have you heard, and if you haven't, let me tell you right now, it exists. In some, specifically in third world countries, where they have like, I think they call them child brides or some crazy shit like that for older men. It is beyond disgusting. It's infuriating and disgusting at the same time. It blows my mind that would even exist. I mean, you heard it, and if you didn't know this, you heard it in the Bible. It's in the, yep, I said it. It's in the Bible, okay? I know, I think about it because I'm going to hear a lot of Bible thumpers get upset with me right now. It's in there, my friends. Well, go read it. I'm not going to tell you where. Go read it. I've read it. Along with some other crazy shit. But that's for another show. The point is that it exists. And you think like, damn, that's crazy. How can the father allow or the mother allow for their child to be, a child bride or if it's, I don't know if there's a equivalent for a child groom. Maybe there is. I don't know. But for sure, women or little girls rather, that are made to be, wives of these older, disgusting men in some of these countries, it infuriates you when you hear it, especially because you're like, who the hell where are the parents? Right? So this,
Absolutely.
again, is maybe normalized because it's like, well, technically they're adults. It's insane, right? And of course, the number one argument is always, well, age is just a number. What are you talking about? Right? Science has proven that some people, even into their early 20s, are not fully developed. Not everybody, right? But many people. So what does that tell you? And by the way, the relationship doesn't start in one day. I hope not. Everybody knows here that relationships start over months. So how don't you know that some of these relationships didn't start with the actual person who was young, 16, 15? That is some R. Kelly shit right there, right? Grooming them.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we can come out, as soon as you turn that 18, we're going to come out and we're going to make one of these cute TikToks. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of likes on Facebook and on YouTube and on wherever else. And it's one of those things to think about. But anyways, before we move on to the next videos we want to show you, Josh, I want to give you the floor here if you have anything else.
Well, actually, I just wanted to mention a little bit more about the article of the normalization of pedophilia there in California. I think maybe the thing that they were trying to do there, which I'm trying to underpoint, is that maybe that having relations with a minor in a heterosexual way or in a heterosexual situation probably got a less severe sentence than with someone in the LGBTQ plus community. So I get that. But the thing is, I think that no matter what your sexual orientation in this situation, the crime should be equal. Instead of bringing down the severity of crime, they should bring up the severity of a heterosexual relationship.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah. That's just my thoughts on it. Because there was probably like, oh yeah, with a minor, but it was a guy and a girl. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. No. It's like, yeah, we'll 10 years, we'll give them 10 years and that's it. And then if it was an LGBTQ plus community person who was in that lawsuit, they would be like, that's 30 years minimum.
Right.
Instead, it should be the other way around, or not the other way around. It should be the same. They should both be 30 years because in the end, you're taking advantage of someone who is not developed properly. I mean, I'm not saying that all you kids out there, if there are any guys who might be younger than 16, feel free to comment and hate on us right now, but I'd really, really like to see your point of view on this. Because honestly, I don't get it. I'm not getting it.
I mean, I hope if anybody's young and is watching this, understand that at least you're getting two strangers that are care enough to put something on the internet, which will live forever, with the idea of protecting. I know a lot of young people nowadays are like, I don't need protection. It's not just about you. It's not just about you. You're not the only young person in the world. All right. Maybe you specifically. And I always love to point out like these people that might come out of the woodwork, all right, that are super macho, super independent. You don't speak for everyone. Okay. If an example, when I've mentioned things about, men that, need some mental health and need to talk more, I always like to, say, well, by the way, this might exclude those big, tough, macho man's man. Not you. I'm not talking to you. Don't worry. You can continue on with you being a macho guy. Same thing here. If you're one of those young teenagers, that is in a relationship with someone that is much, much older than you and it's been working great. Hey, listen, just because I want to prove it, doesn't mean you're going to break up with that person, right? Whatever. But for the rest of you, it's important to know when you're being groomed, right? One thing is for sure, someone that has lived more, has seen more, has experienced more. Can we at least agree on that, right? So what is to say that some of these people that have, again, lived more aren't really looking out for your best interest, but for theirs, right? And the best way to get you wrapped up is by saying, I love you. We should get married. It's just one of those things, man. I can't help to think about, right? With so many articles out there of men, and women, of course, being groomed at a very young age, right? Because you're easily impressionable. Like someone can tell you that they have money and all these luxuries and they're willing to share them with you. And you're like, holy shit, especially if you grew up with none of that. And boom, that's it. I mean, come on. I did that extensive video on Jeffrey Epstein for a reason, right? Because those men, those disgusting individuals exist in the world, right? Just because, by the way, one more time, you have been or you are in a relationship with the perfect person in the world. Like they're better than the Pope. They're better than the freaking Mother Teresa. They're better than just everyone in the world. They're like Jesus on earth. And it's been working out great for you for the past few years. And yes, you guys have a big age gap. It doesn't mean it's the same for everybody. Okay. So just something to consider. But with that, let's move on to the next video. And this one made me feel all kinds of things. Angry, disgusted, just it infuriated me. And for that, I'm going to try to have our editor edit this, what I'm about to show you, as best as possible. Okay. Without getting myself in trouble, without getting hit. I just want you to see what I'm about to see. So I'll tell you a little bit about it and we'll go from there. So in this video, you have my screen recording the first initial clip I came across on YouTube, on TikTok. And that is of it appears to me at least, they're two twin sisters or two friends that look almost identical. So they're doing this trend. It looks like that's where it started, according again to TikTok, because it tells you original clip or whatever. And they what they do, they touch each other, they spank each other. It's under some music that I can't play because of, again, I don't want to get dinged. And then I went to see what other people are doing with the trend. I love doing that. I think a lot of people do that as well, right? There's a reason that feature is there because it's probably very popular. So I come across a couple people, older, individuals, who knows if they're in their teenagers or young adults, but still, right? Doing the same. And then I kept scrolling down lower and lower. And long and behold, I found children doing this trend. I found one that I'm not gonna lie. I might have shed a tear. I was so angry, right? And that is of the little girl that you see there in her tiny pajama. I don't even know how to explain how angry I got when I saw it, because here's a child, no one around her at the time when I found the clip, no likes, no nothing, thank God. And I'm seeing her do what the other older girls did with the bikinis. This little girl maybe came across that video and thought, oh my God, that would be really cool if I did that too. Probably looked at the likes at the whatever of the older girls, and they're like, I want that too, right? Because that's what everybody wants now. That's what everybody, you know, uh, reduces themselves to, is just, can I get a like, right? And they'll do anything for it. They'll come out, you know, naked. They'll come out almost naked, showing you their rear, pretty much leaving nothing to the imagination as long as they get that one like. And it broke my effing heart, man, when I saw that from the little girl. Like, I have two girls, as some of you guys know. And of course I I have a strong bias because I put myself in the position, right? And yeah, you can argue and say, well, where the hell is their parent? True. I'm with you. And furthermore, you can say, well, it's not really the first original clip, right? Again, I'm going to say the twins. To me, they look like twin girls, twin sisters, maybe. That they did that kind of video and slapping each other's in the ass. And you're like, it's not their job to be older siblings or parents to that little girl. True. All that is true. But let me tell you something. I think, much like I've said it before, the responsibility falls on all of us, right? All of us as a society. It's not just about one person. Yes, primarily the person to look at here are the parents of, an example, this little girl. But understand that whatever you put out there, right? Other children can see it, right? I try to model myself, especially when I'm going to put something out on the internet forever, in the best way I possibly can, right? To make sure that if anyone's seeing me, I'm not trying to encourage them to do something stupid like throwing themselves off a building or something like that, or doing something reckless, right? Do I have my flaws? Do I, an example, cuss a lot? Yes. Working on it still. Do I drink? I do drink. I like drinking beer. But that, I would say, is the extent of my flaws, at least that are on the internet. And it's not something that I'm sitting here, with my chest puffed out being proud of. No, I know that they're, by themselves, they're flaws, right? But that's who I am. You know what I don't do? Is do stupid shit like you have the Logan Pauls, or the Paul brothers, I should say, of the world, filming dead bodies. I don't put myself out there or put my children slapping each other in the ass like you saw in that clip right now with the mom standing behind, right? Seeing their young kids. Maybe it's the older sister, who knows, but still, that person looks a lot older, And again, who's watching these besides me right now that I'm showing you guys to bring some light to it? You don't think pedos are coming across those videos? Predators out there that are going to try to weeding your children, your siblings, your friends' kids, right? They're trying to groom them and saying, show me another one. How about you show me this? Can you do it with this other outfit? I see men, or it looks like men to me, right? By their profile pictures. Ask when a girl comes out with a bikini and does a trend, can you do it with another bikini? Can you do it with this? I mean, I say it all the time sometimes to friends. The only difference between TikTok and OnlyFans, by the way, is that OnlyFans, you're paying for it. And, nudity is expected. But TikTok gets pretty effing close. It's insane. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on it.
It's a really strange culture which is coming through, like right now. When you think, I think I said this in the past, like the past thing that we just spoke about, where you think that things should be over by now, we should be past this, but I'm not. And I don't know how to describe it really. It's when you post something online, I do get it that you might think that sorry, I've lost my train of thought here. Fuck me.
No, when you get all heated, I get in the same kind of like mental space, Like right now, I'm normally a lot more turned on and animated. But guys, it brings me to a point in my mind where I think of all these horrific stories you hear all the time. Man caught with all countless types of shit on their hard drive. Women teacher, seduces student. Like, it's just countless stories you hear out there. You know what I mean?
I think I got it again. I think the thing is this type of content is preaching a very dangerous and very stupid idea. And it's giving young kids, whether they're girls or guys, their own like how they value themselves as just a 6 second or 7 second, however long it is on TikTok or however long it is on Instagram, a story like that, that your worth is how many thumbs up, how many comments you get, how many strangers actually give a shit about what you're posting. You have to think really carefully about what you are posting, because in the end, like you always say, with critical thinking, you have to think, what does this person trying to get out of me? My value is not just for what I look like or for the videos that I post. What have you actually done? Rather than just do a little dance or something like that. You have to think really critically and think really hard. I know this is going to be hard for some of you guys who like getting likes. I mean, who doesn't like getting likes? It's good that some people share common interests and stuff like that, but you have to think really carefully about what type of content you are sharing. Now, further on from that, it's not only just about the content that you're sharing. It's God, it's got me all riled up. I can't keep my train in a few seconds, but I do get the argument that people should be allowed to do what they want with their bodies, however they want, without fear of danger. I completely agree with that sentiment. Unfortunately, we live in a society where we have dangerous people who will take advantage of whoever, whenever they can, like the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, like whoever it is, like the Paul brothers as well. Like you said, they just take advantage of whatever they can to get whatever they want.
Yeah.
So you have to think really, really carefully before you actually post stuff online. I mean, I don't really post stuff online that often. I think this is probably the most socially active I actually am online is on your show, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, just like JT, think really critically about what are posting, and are you adding to this culture of where the only value you have is a thumbs up or a heart or a comment?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when we, by the way, because I want to come across as a hypocrite here, when we ask you guys to comment below, it's because we want to have a conversation with you. Genuinely. I know I do, right? I want to have a conversation and seeing one, if I maybe have too much of a bias and, maybe I'm wrong about something, I'm okay with that. I have never proclaimed on any of my episodes that A, I know it all, B, that only my answer is the right answer. I think anybody that would say such a thing is an idiot. I'm here to have a conversation with a community of people that have different opinions, but ultimately at the end probably will have a very similar thought process, right? And it starts like that, and trying to spread the word about things like what we were just talking about right now, right? And are we over normalizing everything? And when you normalize something, who else will be creeping behind the shadows and trying, and will benefit, by the way, the most, right? Normalizing videos like the two examples we just showed you. Again, yeah, there are those people that will say, my relationship is perfect and screw you. But at the same time, it will benefit many people out there that are only looking at this from a beneficial standpoint for their, probably their sexual desires or something like that, for their sick, twisted desires. And I think, we just need to watch out for things like that, guys. We don't want to be at the horse too much, but we just wanted to have an episode where we talk about, the normalization that is happening in TikTok right before our eyes, and the problem is that we scroll through so fast, by the way, through social media. Like this motion now, it's natural for us. It's everywhere. It's in Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right? I think only a few applications out there probably have like left or right swipe, but most of them, this is natural. Either this with our one fingers or like this, and it goes so fast through our eyes, right? And we might miss it, but that's what we do here. We bring you guys stuff that you might have missed, right? So with that, I'll leave it there, Josh.
Well, I think just one last thing, just to ask, like, if there are any people who are victims or anything like that to any type of behavior that has happened like that, do feel free to be able to share whatever you can with whoever you can, because sharing these stories will make you stronger and will hopefully kill this type of behavior one day.
Yeah. Can't agree more there. All right, guys, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, if you feel we've earned that like, hit it for us. Also that subscribe button and the notification bell as well. In addition, if you want to catch again this episode or any episode in case you missed it at the beginning, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. And until next time, see ya. Hey, thanks for watching the JTH show. Remember, you can catch all the episodes, full episodes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. You can also visit www.thejthshow.com to catch episodes there and to catch anything that we had to blur out because of YouTube or any other platform. We usually put all of our raw information in there that is uncensored. You can also become a member at www.thejthshow.com to catch all the special perks. Thanks for watching.